Academy podcast. I'm your host, John Jennings, and with me, as always, are my two co-hosts, Mr. Ryan Kraft and Mr. Matt Childress. How we doing, boys?
Doing great, man. How's it going?
Yeah, man. Doing good. Just recovering, man. It's been a weekend.
I hear you, man. I'm pretty tired. I'm not gonna lie. I got up this morning, did yard work, and I had to cook Easter lunch. So that was
Damn.
that was rough, man. I'm pretty worn out.
I feel you.
But I had to make that fresh pasta and red sauce.
Oh, I saw the pics. I saw.
That's right.
So
Get that food game on Instagram.
Right?
You're not as exhausted as you would have been if you played 12 hours of cards yesterday, because that tournament was long as shit.
Yeah. Luckily, I did not do that, but you two did. So tell us how that went.
You go first, Matt.
Sure. So it was fun. Like I had a good time. I really like the way the new site works for these events. Like, so before, we talked about how like checking time was really hard. Man, I got two monitors set up, so like I can literally just keep that page open on one monitor, and it just has the timer right there with my matchup, so I can like wait to click my results in, and it counts down. It even does like a pre-countdown before the round actually starts and stuff. Like it's really cool. It's easy to use and report, process them. I did run into some error messages. I know some other people were having some error messages as well when they try to report the results, because one of the judges was talking to me about that and trying to like figure out if there's some condition that's happening or whatever. But either way, they're working out some kinks. But wild improvement over the initial stuff of trying to like go up through Discord channels to find the timer to do this other sort of stuff. It was very challenging then. As far as actual performance, so I ran the Birdman, the Tokiyami off fire, and I ended up 5-2-1. So I was like in the top 27 or 25 or so at the end, not top 16. Had a lot of really, really great games with some really cool people. So it was a lot of fun.
Nice. And Ryan, what were you running yesterday?
I played the Casino Royale, or whatever people call it, slot machine, Casino Royale.
The slot machine.
I've heard it called like 4 different things, but it's Air Bakugo with all the ones and twos in it. Man, it was a roller coaster of a day. Started really strong. Started 3-0. Played Tam in the first round. Shout out Tam. Sorry for beating you and then scrubbing. And then played Andrew Alexa, 2-time world champion in the second round, and beat him after playing 4 double front beatdowns all in the same turn. I literally apologized to him after the match. I was like, man, I'm sorry that this has happened to you. Sorry.
It's not how I wanted this to go.
And then, after I won my third round, I was like table 1 on stream for game 4, and I made a misplay in game 3 that cost me the match. And my deck, it sent me a message and said it had forsaken me after that. And I went from 3-0 to 4-4 by the end of the day. So felt pretty bad. It was rough. But I had fun, except for I got my ass beat by Uraraka so bad. And then I got my ass beat.
That was my round 1
by Sato. My God, those two characters beat the brakes off me all day. If it wasn't like main deck Uraraka, it was people siding into Uraraka. God damn, that character.
She's real good.
She's real good.
Turns out clearing cards straight to your momentum and then being able to get those cards back every turn and also giving speed's probably real strong.
But is it good enough to win a provisional?
I don't know. But definitely don't go back and watch the first episode ever of this podcast where we were all like, I don't know about Uraraka. She may not seem that good. Don't go back and watch that.
I believe, and I could be wrong, they can check the VOD. I believe what we were saying is it's going to depend on the strength of the attacks that she has access to. Spoilers, she has access to some really good attacks.
Yeah, I think it was also more like, I think we had her like B, and it was more like, we don't really know what to make of this character, but she clearly not B.
Because we were doing the tier list before we ever had the characters. Like we hadn't even played the game yet, right? So
yeah.
But
I think in our revised
we've
list,
always been that Uraraka is awesome. Don't go back check anything else because it's not.
I think in the revised list, I definitely have her in the A tier. I could be wrong, but I'm pretty sure we all bumped her up. Yeah. I think the only difference was I put Uraraka 2 in the A tier, and I think you guys put her in a B tier for the revised list. But that's when those characters had just come out as well. So
yeah,
I would honestly, I'd probably still stand by that personally. But hey, that's not what we're here for.
No. We're here to talk about how Ryan blew it big time on the big stage. And
man, I was the Uraraka 2 to Uraraka 1 in this tournament. It was terrible.
Man,
I'm just kidding, man. I feel like you specifically said it was like a destined for mainstream and forgetting to check for an attack, right? Was that...
like I played.
Why are you making me live it? He's got PTSD.
No, I was just saying, like,
I
Go
didn't
ahead.
have
Go
a lot
ahead.
of resources. I play an attack. I check a 5, and I have a Destined for Mainstream up. And I'm like, normally I use that there to make sure I don't check bad on my next attack.
Mm-hmm.
I immediately check a 1 since I didn't look. Have to tap out for it, and then I checked. I kicked they blocked that, and I kick it out of my card pool. And I checked a 3 right after that, and I didn't have anything to tap for it anymore. So what would have happened is I would have just drawn the 1, played it, and checked a 3, tapped a couple, and then built some things, and been able to play the rest of my cards out. But
Just keep on trucking.
instead, I played myself, and then gave my opponent the win, basically. I mean,
Yeah, you whoopsie.
to be fair, he
Well,
earned the win. He beat me
yes.
game
Yeah.
2, and then he beat me game 3. Like he finished me off after that. So it is what it is.
Yeah, no,
Yeah.
I was just saying the point is I remember this is something that I did several times when we first started playing locals and stuff was with Destin was forgetting to do that. And so I feel like this is a real teachable moment for our listeners out there. If you have a Destin for mainstream success and it's up and available and you're gonna string a couple of attacks, always name attack. Always do it.
Man, I would just
That's all I
argue whenever you go to use that card at any time in the game, just say attack.
Yeah,
Because
unless you know it's
the
not an
worst.
attack or something, right?
Yeah, if you already know, sure.
just
But
draw the
worst
card.
case scenario, it's going to show you, hey, it is a foundation. You're like, cool, I got a 5 or I got a 4 on top.
Mhm.
Maybe I have a 6. Who knows? But it's just a free flip. Because to Ryan's point, that card's not playable while committed.
Mhm.
So use it while you got it. Worst case, like I said, you don't draw a card. Best case, you draw a card, and maybe you had 2 3s on top. But hey, you drew an extra card.
Listen, I have a very biased story to back this up. I was playing Marcus Johansson, the last provisional winner in the last round yesterday, and we got down to where I needed to block one more attack. I have no cards in hand. I have a Destined up, and I just need to draw a card off of it. I'm like, well, I guess I named Foundation, right? It's my best chance to draw. Nope, it was an attack still on top of my deck, even though it was a 2/3 chance to get a Foundation. So I was like, well, I've learned. I will never not name attack again. Because not only was it an attack,
name attack.
it was my best high block in my deck at a +1 high block, and it was a high attack. And I was like, well, fuck me. I didn't even need to full block it. I just needed a half block. So
you
I
just
was
needed
like,
a block.
Yeah, I needed a block. It was cool. But anyways, yeah. Totally from that one experience, I'll always name attack forever, no matter what the odds say.
Ryan's gonna know it's a foundation. He's like, it could have changed. It could have changed between when it flipped up and when I name it.
Well, Ryan, do you want to know what my takeaway from the tournament was yesterday?
Yeah, man. What was
I should always run 3 or 4 ice storms whenever you're playing those symbols. I ran 2 main and 2 in the board, and I brought in 2 in the board every game 2 and game 3. I don't think there was a single game where I didn't bring in at least 1. Most of the time 2. So we all learn things.
I think that's extremely true for the set 1 meta that we're in. Who knows how that shakes out when set 2 comes out? But yeah, with the things people are trying to do right now, with just playing attacks on attacks on attacks. Yeah, Ice Storm can just completely end a turn.
Oh yeah, it won me some games.
I was gonna say pretty much any deck that I'm looking at right now, if I'm still looking to make a set 1 deck, if it has access to either that or Naval Laser Beam, because it's also a breaker 2, I'm like, is there a way to squeeze this, or is there a way I cannot put this in here? Because this is a breaker 2 on a +2 mid's pretty real good.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So good times.
Anyways, I guess back to our question about whether or not Uraraka can win a provisional.
Want to talk about what did win the provisional?
Yeah. It was, I believe, Asui Water, correct?
It was. Asui won, for the record.
Yeah, Asui won. Daniel Nelson, correct?
Surprise! It was Asui 1 and not Asui 2.
Yeah, I know, right? Who would have thought?
But yeah, it was Daniel Nelson, man. He ran it back. Well, I guess that's his first provisional win, but he ran it back on topping in online provisional once again. I think he's topped every single online provisional.
I believe so, and he won a 1K event as well. All those were all with Tokiyami, so clearly I don't know if he's had just testing some other stuff around, but clearly playing a different character this time.
Yeah,
Asui also another character that we've all thought has been really strong, and I think we've all kind of been more surprised she hasn't had more representation in the top cuts so far. The first tournament aside, that really can't take any anything meaningful from that first provisional, but everything after that, I feel like it's been kind of like, why is she not at least making top 16 and top 8 kind of a thing? But we don't have that anymore because she made it in 1. So
yeah,
and that first
and
provisional
it was water.
It was water.
Okay.
Yeah, I was gonna say that first provisional was the PKE era, the pre-K Arata era. We don't talk about that anymore.
Yeah,
we're post PKE now. So,
Yeah,
yeah, man. So
little my
Daniel,
brain.
I mean, he played against Ryan Field, who was on Uraraka 1 in the finals, and
Mhm.
it
Hmm.
was a 2-0. It was a really close, both games, but it was a 2-0, man.
Mm.
Um, just, she just, Asui just shreds people. Like, if you ever get 2 frog lashings and, like, a tongue whip in your hand, you've already won the game, I'm pretty sure. That's what it seems like to me.
Yeah, and in my experience playing the deck, so like I've had Water Asui put together literally since the set launched, right? Like that was one of the characters I was like, oh man, I want to play this deck. Went back and forth on symbols, started with life, went to water. I think water is better right now just because you have a lot of attacks that we're talking about that want to string together long turns. So creepy realization is really good. Card clogging their card pool, with things like sticky ball and all is really good against those type of decks as well. So
Yeah.
water just has more defensive options there, plus wall cling and all the other stuff, right? But then offensively, the water build also gets the card draw, and that's what she really needs. And John and I talked about this because he has a life philosophy that he plays a fair amount, and like it's basically the trade off between passing the torch and frigid heat wave, and trying to figure out which one you want to run more and which one's more consistent for you and that sort of stuff. And he made it work today, with the water Asui and running that frigid heat wave package, and like frigid heat wave sometimes just gets +6 damage, just casually. So
Yeah, and Megan,
um,
it's like what 5 speed base.
yeah, so it's a 7 high for 10 with her in that
Yeah.
situation, which is pretty nutty. The other cool thing about that deck, and this is the reason that I liked playing it off of water so much because of the frigid interaction, is you can play a frigid later in your turn after you've played a few attacks, and since they're all ranged, you just kick them out. So then
Mhm.
you can actually, during the turn, get to your 6 without having to check poorly. And like that's really cool to do because you're like, oh hey, maybe it's the last attack I play instead of the opener, and then you're like, oh look, I ripped 2 more. Guess I win this game, that sort of
Mhm.
thing.
Yeah.
And that's kind of what that deck does. Like it just kind of snowballs when it can get those draws. And if it puts a hand together of like 5+ attacks, good luck. They're all coming across for like six-ish damage or more. Then you add in the creepy realizations if they start blocking, and it gets nasty real quick.
Yeah.
So I have his deck list pulled up here, and it's similar to Marcus's deck list from last week, where he's running 22 attacks and then 36 foundations and 2 actions. So, he's off the
Whew.
ratio of 2 to 1 a little bit that's you see typically played in a lot of decks.
Mhm.
Um, I mean, all these aggro decks are really greedy on their spreads they're running here. But it seems to be working out. I mean, maybe we just see some of these aggro decks migrating towards this.
Yeah, and I can tell you, like, so the Tokiyami deck that I ran yesterday um, was not the 2 to 1 either. Like, I had 20 attacks and only like 36 non-attacks, so it's
Mm-hmm.
close, but not quite there.
Mhm.
And more times than not, I didn't get screwed by my threes. Like, there were a couple times, like when I went to go block in particular, it's like, oh, cool, I just always check threes to block. I guess I die. That happens for sure. But a lot of times, it's like, oh, look, I drew a grip full of 4 or 5 attacks. I guess I win. Like.
Yeah.
So
Right.
that's kind of the way
Um,
it seems to be shaking out right now.
yeah, and I mean, Asui, she's constantly kicking cards out of her card pool, so she's not really playing with progressive difficulty, and she also has
Mhm.
Amphibious, so that
And Crow and
helps.
Frog.
And Crow and
Yeah,
Frog. Yep.
yeah.
Yeah.
And
So
she
I
has
mean,
first villain encounter also.
Hmm.
I guess the common theme here is all these characters that are doing this are just ignoring their progressive difficulty in some way or another. Tokiyami's doing it with
Yep.
Summon Dark Shadow. She's kicking cards, and Uraraka's like dumping stuff for momentum. So, because even looking
Right.
at Ryan Field's list, he's running 20 attacks, 37 foundations. So,
Hmm.
it's not a big difference, but still, you're getting you're skirting your way around the numbers a little bit there. So I guess you can't do this in every deck, but if you can manipulate the card pool, that's really strong.
Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah. It's really cool
Oh.
to see how these deck lists are evolving as we get further into the set 1 meta too. Because going into set 1, as we go into set 2, who knows? I mean, like if there's a hard shift and maybe some other defensive pieces start coming in, like maybe you can't run that risk of having those less consistent checks or whatever, and
Right.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. We'll see. It'll be cool.
I will say shout out to Andrew Williams, who was the Swiss champ on Void Kuragiri. Or wait, was
So
he
it was
Order or Void?
order. It's order
He was
Kagiri, I'm
Void.
pretty
Yeah, he
sure.
was Order Kuragiri. Yeah,
Yeah.
it got I think it got messed up somehow in my spreadsheet.
Hmm.
Okay. Yeah. I think it was on order, which
But yeah,
is
the name of the
Props
deck
to you,
is
man.
My Dream of Order. So yeah, it was totally built off Void.
Oh yeah, that makes
Yeah,
sense.
definitely a void deck, clearly.
Mm-hmm.
Um, but yeah, I mean, you couldn't have convinced me that was going to happen before the event.
Do we want to just go ahead and go over the full top 16 real quick? Just run them down, or have because we've done.
We should talk about the winner really so far.
Okay.
Yeah. You want me to go through or you got it, John? If you got it pulled up.
Oh yeah, I've got it pulled up. So first place, Water Asui. Second, we had Chaos Uraraka. Third, Order Sato. Fourth, Life Mina deck. Coming in at fifth, we have another Uraraka on air. Then at sixth, we have an Uraraka on life. 7, we have All Might on good. 8, Nomu
All Might
Death.
3. All Might 3.
All Might 3, yes. All Might 3 on good. 8th, Nomu Death. 9th, we have another Asui Water. 10th, we have an Uraraka on life. 11th, we have All Might 3 on good. On 12th, we have another Uraraka life deck. 13th, Kurogero Void. 14th, yes, I'm looking at the sheet that is wrong.
Yeah.
We just talked about it too. 14th, we have Asui on water. 15th, we have Sato Order, and then 16th, we had another All Might 3 on good. So
Chris Smith, 16.
Chris Smith, that's right, friend of the pod, Chris Smith.
So one thing that I think is really interesting is in the top 8, there were 3 Urarakas, and they were all on a different symbol.
Mm-hmm.
So like we haven't seen that happen since Kirishima, right? Like Kirishima, there was one of the events where there were 3 Kirishimas, and it was all 3 symbols represented in the top 8 as well.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't think you're going to see Tokiyami off of Evil anytime soon making a top 8. So I think Uraraka,
We'll see in set 2. We'll see.
Okay, maybe, but I'm just saying maybe Uraraka 1 is the new King of the Mountain. You know what I'm saying? Like as far as just her viability as a character, regardless of symbol, she's good enough to just get it done, which is kind of interesting, you know.
Yeah,
definitely best top 5 for sure.
Yeah, I was gonna say it's not really likely to change moving forward either. As we talked about, I feel like her power is only just gonna get better as more sets come out.
Yeah, she's gonna have more and more attack options to look at probably. Yeah. She's gonna get some new ones in set 2.
So I was looking at the numbers for like all the symbol breakdowns for the field. So there was 38 air decks, which was 20. We'll just round up 22% of the field, and the next closest thing was fire at 16%. So air clearly heads and above the rest is the favorite symbol that people are playing right now, which kind of explains all the RLE promos being air promos for the most part. Clearly that's what people want. But at the bottom of the barrel, we had one all deck. Out of all the decks, there was one all deck, and it was Jiro, I think, right?
Wait, so you're saying it was all for one?
No, I didn't say that, and I won't say that. And then there was 2 evil decks, and in fact, those were evil Tokiyamis. So
yeah, No offense, guys, but how'd that work out? I'm sorry.
I don't know. The rankings don't go far enough to see.
You're a brave soul. You're a brave soul, and I respect your bravery.
Speaking of brave souls, I do have some brave soul awards to give out.
Okay, let's hear them.
So this is for people who went against the grain and did their own thing, even though they knew it wasn't going to go well. There was
you get a Ryan Gold Star.
A Ryan Gold Star. I don't know your name. All I know is what character you were playing. There was an Earth Kirishima out there, boys. Earth Kirishima, post-errata, no coordinated effort, just doing their thing.
Gold Star from Ryan.
Yeah, I don't know where they finished. There was a Water Mineta, and Lanoko was not even playing in the tournament. He's the judge who loves Mineta. I would assume it would have been him, but he wasn't playing because he was judging. And then there was an Aoyama off of life. John, a man after our own hearts, or woman, I don't know, either way.
Yeah.
But we've been about that Aoyama. We said we could maybe see a life. But we didn't see the life on coverage, so they probably didn't do very well. But shout out to them anyways. Good job, dudes.
Or dudettes.
Or dudettes. Oh, dudes, gender inclusive. It's every gender. It's fine.
That's what if Good Burger taught us anything, that we're all dudes.
We're all dudes.
We're all dudes on the inside.
All right, so
yeah. So
I was gonna say, I wasn't sure if you had any more of the.
Yeah, that was all of them. Yeah, that was all of them.
Okay. So I'd like to point out this is the first event where life was the most represented symbol in the top 8. So there were 2 life decks in the top 8, which is kind of interesting.
Oh yeah, there was 2 in the top 8. Okay.
Yeah, and then there was, as far as the top 8 is concerned, there were 2 7-handers? Yeah,
Uh,
Ashido and Asui.
And Kurogiri.
Kirigiri was not in the top 8.
He wasn't top 8.
Yeah.
Oh.
And then there's the 1 5-hander in Nomu.
And Nomu.
And then there were 5 6-handers. So I just think it's really interesting. This is 2 events in a row where like there's been 1 or 2 7-handers that make top 8, and they're the ones that do the whole event. Kind of giving more credence to like it seems like it's still a 7-hander meta in that way. Like that's what's getting it done at the top end. But at the same time, if you're just wanting to make top cuts, you can make an argument that you just play a 6-hander that's just viable, like an Uraraka or whoever else, a Jiro, whatever, and an All Might 3, and make you can probably make top cuts with that. It's just we haven't seen one of those get over and take the number 1 slot yet. So
yeah.
So I just had a random note to share. I just saw. Even though there was 22% of the field was playing air, there was only 1 air deck in the top 16. So that was kind of surprising.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Matt, you were talking about the abundance of life. I was just thinking, what 2 characters does that symbol have in common? Asui and Uraraka.
Oh yeah, I was about to say. I was like, are we going for Asui and Uraraka here? Yeah. Well, their cards play nice together too. Like Amphibious sure is good in both those decks.
There were 4 life decks in the top 16.
There you go.
And there was only 20 of them total in the whole tournament, so that's a pretty good representation for your symbol.
Yeah. Any other, I guess, last thoughts on like the actual representation of decks and stuff in the provisional?
I was just. You go ahead. Okay, I was gonna say I'm just really glad to see this kind of like revolving door of characters making it into the tops, and even further symbols as well. Like since Kirishima's left, it has not been one big bad person sitting on top and everyone else just wishing they were there. And honestly, at this point, I think honestly most of these decks, definitely in the top 4, I think any of those decks could have just gone all the way. Like the Ashido deck could just randomly pop off and kill an Asui. Like I think that's totally possible. Sato, man, I played against a Sato. That deck is super cool. It was an incredibly difficult matchup. And he's just super tanky, draws a bunch of cards, does damage and stuff. Like, I know you guys are big on him anyway, but like having seen it in person, like that deck just looks like a lot of fun to play. So yeah, I think that deck could go all the way as well as what I'm getting at. And I think that's really exciting. And that's as much as I'll complain that like I feel like I'm ready for set 2 because that one's just been out so long and it's kind of like stale, that way, like, oh, I just built all the decks I want to build kind of thing. It's clearly not stale because we keep seeing all these new things popping up and being successful. There was no Jiros in this top 8, and you can make an argument because it's an online event. She's not as good online because of the changes to her ability, but still, like 0 Jiros. Like before, she's still making top cuts. Like there were 2 of them in the in-person event last week. Like
yeah.
There's characters that aren't even on this list is what I'm getting at in the top 16 for this event that are also completely viable at winning a tournament. So that's really cool. That's good balance and good design.
It's talking about the revolving door of characters at the top. I mean, there have been 4 different characters win the first 4 provisionals. So
yeah,
I mean, you can't get better than that. And like, you got to look around before you say the word. But we've achieved diversity without diversity. We can't say the word diversity though.
So what's really interesting is obviously Kirishima won the first provisional. He didn't make top cuts at the next one. Kaminari won the second provisional. He didn't make top cuts at the third one. Tokiyami won the third provisional. He did not make top cuts here.
I had not thought about
like
that. But
people metagame against the deck that won the last one, John.
I know.
Wow.
So
to be fair, I was 1 win away. Really, I was 1 game away from getting that win. But I'd been in top 16 then.
Yeah.
And clearly I would have gone all the way. Obviously.
We not going to show up in top cuts at the next event? I mean, we'll have to see if this streak continues.
So you heard it here. Hot take from John Jennings, ladies and gentlemen. Asui will not make top cuts at the regional license exam on the 30th.
Which is a shame because not that I'm playing in it, but the deck I play is Asui. So if I were going to play, I'd just be like, sorry, guys, I'm just not going to make it.
I'm just here to have a good time. I jinxed myself.
But Ryan, did you have any other final thoughts?
No. Right before right before Matt talked about Sato, I was going to shout out the Satos in the top. There's like 10 of them, or there was 11 of them in the tournament, and there was 2 in top 16, right? So
I think so. Yeah.
He came on strong, and just watch out for that dude. He's a beating.
He's the savior Order needs clearly, and I guess maybe Kirigiri also, but
Yeah.
I think the starter deck's definitely got some legs to it.
Yeah, agreed.
hmm But yeah, so there was also something else, kind of a weird situation that happened in Top Cuts. If you didn't know that we had two people drop in Top Cuts,
Yeah, not
which is
disqualified, just like
not
straight up
yeah,
drop.
yeah. One person I think in the round of 16 had to drop, and then one person won their first round match, went to the second round, and then dropped. I believe
Yes,
is
they
what
made
happened.
top 8 and then they dropped.
Yeah, so I don't know the situation. We kind of talked about it some. I don't know what your guys' thoughts are, but it really feels like unless you have like some kind of life situation or something that's like, all right, I've got to stop playing this game because something far more important is happening. Like we all understand that.
Yeah, if it's like an
Um,
emergency or something.
yeah, but it does feel odd. I mean, maybe the person that made top 16, they didn't plan on making it, and they've like, well, it's Easter. I've got other things I got to do or
Right. It is
something.
Easter. Yeah. I mean, like,
Um,
that's definitely a thing.
So it is
yeah.
Easter. That being said, I'm gonna take probably an opposite stance from you guys.
Mhm.
Everybody knew what weekend this tournament was on. Like,
hmm
why would you like get into top cuts and drop? Like, I get it. Go do stuff with your family. That's cool. But I think Jasco should just have a rule that like if you drop from top 16, you don't get top 16 prizing. Like if you're gonna play in it, commit to playing in it, and you can't just drop in the middle of it because they're streaming these matches. They want eyes on the game, and you
hmm
lose viewership if you have less matches to show on Twitch. Because I don't know how many content creators are showing stuff today, but if someone just drops out of top 8 and you got 4 content creators, that's one person who just can't even put your game out there anymore. So
Yeah. I mean, they just stream one of the ones that is going on. It's just an
yeah, but
overlap, you know?
yeah, but that's not increasing your exposure, right? It's just
I mean,
the
people just
same
tune
amount.
into whatever stream they want for the commentators anyway, right? Like,
Yeah.
even if you're watching the same content. But
hmm
so like I do say I don't necessarily agree with like not being able to get your pricing and all. Like I've definitely been in top cuts before, like at Gen Con years ago, and I lost, but they weren't going to pass out. They had some posters, some prints and stuff for different properties they had at the time, and they weren't going to pass those out until the whole tournament was finished because they wanted the top person to get to pick, right? So fortunately, the community is awesome, and they were like, "Dude, look, I had to get on the road to get back home because it's like an 8.5 hour drive, and had work the next day and all." And they're just like, "Hey, dude, like, just go ahead and pick one. It's cool. No one cares." I was like, "All right, cool." So like, if I didn't drop, that's a little different. You know what I'm saying? But like the idea of like you not getting your pricing just because something happens, like maybe I don't know, if it's a life event, like John was saying, it doesn't bother me. If it was just like a
Right.
hey, I just don't want to play this matchup. I'm just going to drop. Like, what? No, man, you played this far. Like, power through it. You know what I'm saying? It's one more game. Take the hour of your time and get it done. Would be my mentality. But at the same time, I don't know the situation at all. I just know that
Yeah.
there were two people that ended up dropping.
Mhm.
That's really strange to have happen. That does not happen often. And I would like to hope that they have really good reasons to do it, and defer to their judgment there.
Yeah, the one that's I guess especially weird is the top 16 one because that would mean maybe they knew ahead of time they weren't going to play or something. In that case,
Right.
can you not just like talk to Jasco or someone and be like, hey, I was gonna play in this tournament, but obviously today being Easter or whatever it was, we got something going on. I can't
Mhm.
really like play. Maybe work out something where it's like you still give them whatever the top 16 price support would be, but they're being upfront and be like, hey, I can't do this. And so then you just move up 17 into their spot and they play.
Mhm.
Like, why couldn't that have happened?
Because then you're giving out top 16 prizes to another person, and like, so real talk. If we want to talk about pricing, for provisionals, I think they need to up the pricing. Like, if you made top 16, you basically get like I think it's like 2 more promos, and then you get like 4 more booster packs. Like, that's like nothing, for playing 8 rounds in a day, and having to. I mean, like, if you lost 2 games in one draw, that's what my record was. You're in the top 20 something, sure, but you ain't making it to the top 16, so you get nothing more. And now, granted, I got a ton of points, so I'm not saying I got literal nothing. And those points, I
Mhm.
got enough to redeem for a card. So, point system is awesome. Really enjoy that, and it gave me a reason to keep playing, even if I hadn't won out, and didn't make top cuts. So I appreciate it. But at the same time, I mean, like, why can't top 16 get like 8 packs or something? You know what I'm saying? Like just double it. Like those booster packs are like nothing. Like I think grand total, I added it up one time, and like they're giving away like 5 boxes across 16 people right now or something like that. Like that's like nothing. I mean, I think first place only gets what, like a box or two.
I don't know.
maybe.
Boxes, I think.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's a box or something. Like I don't know. And I get it. Like it's only a $20 tournament, but $20 is like not nothing. I mean, they had 200 something people. That's $4,000. It's
So,
a
Yeah,
lot of
I already
money.
told you, man. They trying to pay that $250,000 out here in a few months. They got to save that money up.
I was gonna say also maybe it may have to do with
I guess.
provisionals not originally intending to be like like this big of a scale, maybe, and so they just didn't change the pricing. I don't
Yeah,
know.
but I mean, the thing is, like, you could just literally like just toss in 2 more packs, like whatever, man. Here you go, you get one, you get one. You like crack open one box that covers 24 people. Like I don't know. It's to
Yeah,
me, it
yeah.
seems low still. Not the regional license exam. Regional license exam pricing is crazy. Like we talked
It's
about that
high.
already.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think it's a fine balance they have to meet on those provisional promos and stuff because, like,
You don't want to flood the market.
yeah, you want there to still be a reason to buy them from the store with their loyalty points. Otherwise, there's
Hmm.
just no reason to even have the program. But
Yeah,
you also want there to be like a secondary market. Like they don't officially support the secondary market, obviously, but that's part of the
sure.
CCG. So if you have too many of them, I don't know. I think it makes people not even play after a certain point because then there's no reason to show up.
Right.
Mhm.
Well, I'm not even saying that I think you should get more promos, though. I'm saying like just throwing more booster packs or whatever. Like, you know, since like something for
Sure.
your $20. Cause like I get 2 booster packs and 2 promos and I paid $20 and I played 8 rounds. And don't get me wrong, I got loyalty points, so I get another promo that way because I
Yeah.
did do well. But there's people who did not do well, who played all day, who are gonna get 2 packs and 2 packs like for $20. It just doesn't feel great. Like those 2 booster packs cost them if they go to the store under $10, you know?
Right.
So I don't know. That is my only current, I guess,
Yeah.
not even concern, but like just like thing that seems odd. You know, like I feel like the pricing would normally be a little bit bigger for top
Okay.
16.
Yeah, and it's like we've talked about. Like I
Yeah,
think that they plan the pricing based on it being smaller events, but that's not what it is
could be for
anymore.
sure.
Yeah. No.
Like if you're like you
Yeah,
said, if you're putting 8 hours into an event, what you're walking away with right now feels kind of whack. Like I
yeah.
still appreciate the points and I appreciate getting the
Oh
stuff
yeah.
for entering and
Yeah,
playing,
it's just
but
not proportional to what they have done in the past or something
Yeah.
like this.
Oh, and in
yeah.
particular, I'm saying for the people who also like go and play on a second day, you know, like
Oh
Mhm.
yeah.
literally, like we'll use Chris as an example. Chris made top 16. So yeah, he's going to get like, you know, a midnight. So 1 extra promo. Then he gets 2 more promo packs. So that's 3 cards. And then he gets like 2 more booster packs or 4 more booster packs or something. And it's like, okay. I mean, that
Yeah.
man played crazy all day, you know, like,
Mm.
I don't know. I just feel like if we could up the number of booster packs, like I totally get the promo aspect of it. I like having not necessarily like just chase cards, but like cards that have
Something
value
to work for,
personally.
right?
Yeah, well, I like being able to turn my cards around and trade them for someone else and then feel like they're valuable. You know, like I don't want to like most cards in the set already aren't valuable. You know, like there's like 2 or 3 ultra rares that are valuable. Everything else is like sub $5.
I think if they could do a smaller scale of what they're doing with the RLE promos for provisionals, it'd be kind of cool. Maybe if there was like a 2 or 3 promo set you can only get at provisionals, that would probably feel
Hmm.
better when you play it and
Mm.
you don't do well. Maybe you get like your provisional promos and like a random alt art that's not one of the ones that we've already seen. But that's that'll take time to roll out if they ever thought about doing something like
Yeah.
that.
Yep.
Yeah, I'm exclusively providing this as feedback and being like,
Yeah,
I
yeah.
don't get why it's so low. It's not a complaint. Like like I said, the points alone literally were instantly added to my account. And I was telling you guys today, I was like, I'm thinking about just cashing one in for a promo like
Yeah.
today.
Oh, I was on the shop today looking too. You weren't the only one. I was
Yeah.
like, man, I need to give me a card. Get it on the
Hmm.
thing.
Yeah, that feels really good. I love that system. Thank you to all the people who put all that time and effort into creating that system and that website. It is awesome. And anyone who says differently is stupid, and I'll tell them to their face.
Hey, there's a lot of those people. There's a lot of those people in the MHA Discord. Go tell them.
You're stupid.
There you
This is
go.
free cards, free points.
There you go.
If you only look right at you're stupid. This is free cards and free points. Like you're literally getting
Wait,
stuff for free. Like
you're looking
so.
at me and John right now. You talking to us?
I know. It's like,
Because I
Well,
know where
no,
you
but I
live,
figure
son.
when they
I'll
watch
be
it
at your
later,
house.
they can zoom in on my eyes. You want to
oh,
crop it so it
okay.
just comes up to
You
me.
can
You know, the
you
crop
can
back.
feel
Yeah.
you can feel the intensity. You just
Yeah. I still love you guys, but you're stupid. Yeah, like it's.
So speaking of packs,
I thought you were gonna say it's
on
being stupid. I was
Speaking of
like, all right, just talk
packs,
about me a little bit.
so I didn't catch this, and I don't know if it's still up or whoever made it still has it up on their
no,
Twitch.
it is not on their Twitch anymore. Because
It is
I
not on
actually I
okay.
went to go look.
Okay.
Okay, that's probably for the best. I don't know who
Yeah.
this person was, but
We won't say their name. It's fine. We can just talk about
yeah,
the situation.
there was another content creator who went on, fired up a Twitch stream during the provisional, because they had acquired at least a box of Crimson Rampage. I don't know how much of it was.
What?
And they did a box opening stream. I can't confirm any of the other stuff I'm about to say because I don't know if it's true or not. This is all secondhand information we've read in
Wild
our Discord or
speculation is
other
spreading the
conversations
rumors.
or whatever. Exactly. But it's not our initial speculation was this is somehow a store owner, right? Or someone that has like gotten the product in from Asmodee because it's already
Yeah.
been printed clearly and
Yeah.
it's kind
Apparently
of
there-
making its way to stores.
Yeah, there are stores that have already received their pre-release kits. Like we've had multiple friends from across the country tell us, like, yeah, dude, like our store owner told us they got the stuff in. Our own store, we've been talking to him and it hasn't come in yet, but he said that they're supposed to be getting it before the pre-release as well. But guess what? We ain't gonna get to touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So but the story is I don't know. Maybe they went to their local store and convinced them to just sell it to them or what.
I don't know how you acquired it.
We don't know how they got it.
Largely
but
irrelevant.
I think
They acquired a box.
I think their defense was the original release date was supposed to be March or something like that. Was that what it was?
No. The website still says coming March 2022.
Is that okay? That's what it was.
Is what the person referenced. Although
okay,
someone had verified that they had acknowledged the actual release date in Discord at some point. So
Oh, the same individual had?
Yes, yeah.
What a beating.
So they were just like kind of being ignorant and opening packs of Crimson Rampage on stream, and breaking street date willingly, essentially.
Yes.
So there's a lot of
And recording
shown.
themselves doing it.
Yeah, there's a lot of cards shown. I think that's the secret rares there were secret rares that got pulled on stream.
Oh.
And I think that's one of the reasons those actually got shown today during the provisional. Because
we need to go over
Go
those.
ahead and,
Yeah,
so this is going to lead into the next one, but yeah.
Yeah. So that's crazy, is what I'll tell you. And honestly, I'll be real. I don't have any sympathy for that person. Like whatever penalties they have to pay for that, you shouldn't have done it. You broke street date. I worked for GameStop for a while. Street date's a very real thing. Like if I sold a game that we had in the drawer, 5 feet away from this dude who pre-ordered it and gets it the next day, if I sold it to him the day early, I got fired. Like that's how that goes.
I mean, it's kind of like stolen merchandise, right? Like if you get caught selling stolen merchandise, even if you didn't steal it, you can get in trouble for it. Like if you break street date, it's on you to know what the street date is. Like you can't rely on other shit.
If you're a content creator, why are you doing this?
Yeah, even further, you could have recorded it ahead of time, gotten it all super like bedazzled and nice, and then just post it the day the set comes out and be like, how did he do this? Oh my God. But instead you're just like, let's go live to Twitch right now. Everyone tune in. I got stuff I'm not supposed to have. Here's my name. Here's my address. Like, I mean,
but like Jasco has worked with that. Like we did previews for them, right?
Yeah.
We know that Jasco sent boxes to some other content creators before the launch of the first game.
Yeah, I have a pile of boxes on the other side of my bed. I'm not opening it up.
Listen, I'm with Matt. Like I have no sympathy for the person, but I also would like to say that it was the ultimate smooth brain moment to do this during the provisional when everyone's watching the provisional. No one's going to come to your stream to see you doing this while they're watching the provisional, bro. Like
more of a reason to record it and post it later.
40 views, I believe, was about all they had. From someone
that's rough, dude.
Talked to us about it. Yeah,
you could have done that and got way more content and way more views out of that if you had just done it better. But hey, it sucks to be you, whoever you were.
Yes. However, I guess since those cards have been revealed officially, let's go ahead and talk about them.
My man.
So I believe the first one is Dropkick Slicer. Is that the order?
Dropkick Slicer.
Okay, yeah. So Dropkick Slicer. It's got a pretty sweet picture of Stain. It is a 5 difficulty, 1 check attack. It got a +1 low block. It's a 4 high for 5. It's got a kick and a weapon as its keywords. Obviously, it's got Stain symbols. It has the static text.
What are the symbols, John?
Oh, sorry. All evil order.
There we
go. It has the static text. If you have 10 or less health, this card gets -1 difficulty. Notice it says this card, not this attack. So that's important for like playing block. Does that not work for blocks? No. Oh, it's difficulty. Difficulty is modified by something else for blocks.
It should actually probably just say this attack, but it's whatever. It's just saying the card because it references the actual card itself.
At any rate, it becomes a 4 difficulty attack. It's got an enhance. Reveal the top 3 cards of your deck and add all attacks revealed this way to your hand. Discard the remaining cards, and your rival loses 1 health for each card discarded this way. You cannot reduce them below 1 health. This card's a banger.
There's hotness.
This card is, yeah. All right, so this is like if Frigid Heat Wave and Double Front Beatdown got together and banged out a dropkick slicer. Like, you think about that. I don't know what that looks like, but it's this card.
It's like
This
this,
card is
yeah.
amazing.
All
It's
right,
so
so
good.
what's the spiciest thing we're doing with this card? I saw someone talking about running this in Staff Strike Momo as like a one of, since you can just pull it back and play it every turn.
Oh my god.
Lol. I'm on board with this plan already. Just windmill send these directly into your all Momo deck.
I feel like for
Uh,
evil in particular, this card is really strong because it gives it some card draw that it does not have currently. Like, yeah, you got to play a one check for it, but
Right.
like the only card draw that the symbol has access to currently, I believe.
Yeah, so like seriously, like so this card either gets rid of 3 bad checks, and by bad checks I mean attacks, and pulls them to your hand, which is nuts, or it gets rid of whatever the next bad check was going to be, and then also does damage to your rival. So
Well,
it's either like, I guess, best case, draw 3 attacks, right? Like that's kind of the dream. Worst case, 4 high for 8.
or 4 high for 5 and burn them for 3 directly.
Yeah, but you see what I'm saying? Like, does 8 total damage. Like, I mean, I get that the 3 is unpreventable. They just take it. It gives you triggers for other cards, like Keen Observation, stuff like that. So you can actually snowball even harder.
Excited for
But
blood.
yeah, lots of cool things. But I'm just saying, like, that's worst case scenario. And it's a stat machine. Like, if you're at 10 or less health, like 4 diff, that's a 4 high for 5. Hey, that's literally meteor shower stats.
Yeah. You can play this in Hatsume. You get real spicy with her. You can make this thing huge and also draw even more cards with her. I think that'd be kind of cool.
Yeah, it also has kick.
I was gonna say, so it also fits into the kick order lineup randomly.
As
so
if that needed to draw more cards, right?
Yeah.
Right. So yeah,
I think this
card
card's sweet.
Also, +1 low block. It's always good.
Yeah.
Ain't never sad to see that.
Yeah.
I think it's really good that this card has all and evil on it, since I think those are probably the 2 most underrepresented symbols currently. So.
Oh yeah, they both hot doo.
Yeah.
Thanks, Stain. Appreciate you.
Next up we have Joint Effort Offensive. It's got a pretty sweet picture of Bakugo and Deku going in for like a joint attack. There's another attack. It's a 4 difficulty, 2 control check, +1 mid. It's a 2 speed mid for 5. It's got Earth, Fire, good. So we have Ally, Fury, Punch, Combo, Attack. Combo enhance, this attack gets +1 speed and +2 damage for each card in your rival's hand. And we got the Bakugo and Midoriya enhance. Discard 1 momentum. You may play a once per turn abilities on your character a second time this turn. So yeah.
So like with Bakugo 2, that lets you trigger his combo, flip again. And then on Midoriya 2, it lets you build. Midoriya 2, it lets you build again. On Midoriya 1, it gives you, I guess, after you play something to draw cards, after you discard your hand, it lets you discard your hand again to add another 10 damage, which is pretty sweet. So I was just going through that ability because that ability is kind of strange, right? Like once per turn, things are normally restricted for a reason. So doing them twice in a turn is probably pretty good.
And I mean, who knows what these characters get in the future, right? I'm sure we'll see plenty more copies of these characters. This could.
Oh yeah.
Scale
There's
well
gonna be at least one in every set, I would assume.
Yeah.
But
yeah, this card is neat, man. Like the damage and speed pump is good, but it's like, I guess most of the time it's gonna be like +3, +6, which is it's a 5 mid for 11 most of the time.
Right.
Well, it's probably gonna get +2 actually. They're probably gonna block earlier. You would think, right?
I'd imagine +2.
So it's a 4 mid for 9 on a 4 diff, 5 diff after the combo. Still pretty good.
Yeah. Yeah, like I don't love this card, like compared to the other one. Like I think Dark Slicer is way better personally.
Yeah.
Could be totally wrong. But like Joint Effort, like it's not bad. Like that 2 speed is kind of what's holding it back to me. Like if it was 3, which seems like a really small thing to say, I feel like it gets really, really good because like the scenario we just described, right, where they're holding on to like 2 cards at that point because they block your first attack. This has to be your second attack to get the combo. And even then it'd be, a 5 speed, which is still very blockable. Now, granted, Bakugo can add 2 more speed to this thing. It does not have powerful though, so you can't make it too buck wild. But Midoriya can add 1 speed to it. So I don't know, like Midoriya, I guess makes this thing pretty large and in charge, right? Like if they got 2 in hand, it becomes a 4 speed doing 9, like you said. Then he uses his ability, make it a 5 speed doing 12.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right. So yeah, it's probably pretty good in those characters.
This Ally Fury Punch. I mean, it can fit into a lot of kits if you needed to. I think that's something that's nice about it.
Yeah, it's not bad by any means. I'm not saying I think this card is bad. I just don't think that it's as good as Dropkick Slicer.
Yeah, Dropkick Slicer, I think it's definitely going to be the better of these two. And this officially confirms we had 2 secret rares for this set, so good to know.
And I think like the power difference between a 1-check and a 2-check has to kind of be a chasm, right? Because 1s impact your turn 1 so much, whereas like 2 doesn't. You can build pretty efficiently on turn 1 still with 2 checks in your deck. But the 1s, like they can just destroy your whole game. Like you may not even build a single foundation playing 1 checks in your deck, so it's rough.
Yeah, I feel like if you're running 1 checks, you should be able to safely build 2, like a 1 then a 0. Yeah. But that doesn't always happen, as we both know, as we all know, that does not always happen.
Indeed.
But yeah, those cards are cool. The artwork's great. I feel like I'm obligated to say that at this point, right, Ryan?
Yep, Matt. The artwork's cool. Childress.
Yeah. The foiling will probably be pretty dope on those too.
Yeah, they showed the XR versions of them, and the kanji stuff was still cool. Like the one for joint effort offensive was so fucking. It was so long. They like
it
tiny.
got smaller. Yeah,
it like stretches down the whole side of the card. It starts to wrap around the border. Come back out, like
all the way around. Yeah.
Yeah, you're like, whoa, that's a lot of letters or words. I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't speak or read Japanese. So.
I am ignorant when it comes to Japanese. I barely read subtitles. I don't know.
Man, it's like I'm still working on English. I don't know.
Words are hard.
Aren't you a teacher?
Hey, I don't teach English.
Fair enough.
All right. Well, is there anything else you want to talk about?
I feel like we hit the highlights. I don't really have any other prevailing thoughts about the provisional. I like that we had another character win. I like that. I think that's good for the game and another symbol, right? Because it was she was on water, right? And we haven't had water atop anything yet, so that was really cool. Just shows everything's pretty viable right now. Well, there's a lot of viable stuff, I should say, not everything, but there are a lot of different things that are viable at the moment.
So one thing I will say, and it's a shameless plug, but I'm going to plug it anyway. If you're interested in seeing some of the data and stuff for the meta and trying to see where we're looking at this stuff and all, if you go to our website, underneath the support tab across the top, you can go to meta analysis, and I've got a breakdown of all that information for you as well. Some charts and some data there, showing you which characters are topping, which symbols are topping, and then also hand size and that sort of stuff. So it's just some quick glance information, nothing too in depth, I should say. But at the same time, I think it's a resource that a lot of people, I know I was talking to some people I was playing yesterday, telling them about it, and they're like, oh, wait, what, really? I'm like, yeah, man, that information's out there. We're putting that out there for everybody, trying to keep track of it, try to help everybody kind of know how the game's shaking out.
So
if there were... Oh, go ahead, Ryan.
Go ahead, John. Mine's not related.
I was just going to say, to Matt's point about shameful plugs, this is our own podcast. If there were ever a place to
shamelessly promote your own stuff.
Just have no shame in promoting your own
stuff.
Okay, that's fair. It's on your own media.
Yeah.
So something that we forgot to talk about, unless my short-term memory is completely fucked. They announced 4 new tournaments.
The Origins tournament.
Oh, dude, yeah.
Yeah, the Origins Game Fair in Columbus, Ohio, June 8th through 11th. Starting on June 8th, there's a provisional
through the 12th.
8th, 9th,
10th, 12th.
11th and 12th. Yeah, you're right. Yeah. So the 8th, 9th, and 10th, there's a provisional every single day. So Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. So 3 chances for you to go play in a provisional, get provisional promos, win provisionals to get RLE buys.
To immediately get a buy for the RLE that weekend.
You can cash it in for anyone, allegedly, so you can do it. But yeah, then on the 11th and 12th, there's a regional license exam up there. So you
Yeah.
can make an entire week out of it. 4 different tournaments, a ton of promos, a lot of money you're gonna have to spend, but it'll
it's
probably be a
cash
fun week.
dollars.
Yeah.
Are those events live now to register for, or is there a window? Like, do they announce when they're going to go live, like pre-sales and all, or is it now?
Here, let's do a live check and see.
I was gonna say I
Yeah.
did not notice anything earlier, but I only saw it on like the thing that Jasco put out, where it's got like the different like little blocks of events.
Yeah, I saw the stream, where they put up the graphic and all, but I did not look at the official website yet.
It is not on the website yet. No.
Okay, good. I think that's good. Like, I think what they should do is make a post telling us, like, hey, this is the day it's going to go live. Because I imagine the fact that it's in person and it's that many events, I know that's tough for a lot of people to get off. To John's point, I'm a teacher, so I'll actually be on summer break then. So that's kind of awesome. But I do have other plans for that. Do what?
It's 7 weeks out, so this is like a little better than the last.
Yeah, it's about just under 2 months.
Yeah.
I do have other plans during that week, but I might be able to make it up for that weekend. So I might be able to make it up for the regional license exam. See what we can do there, because I'd love to play an in-person event. There's something way more satisfying about like being at an event and not just sitting across from people, but also like getting those promos while you're at the event, like trying to barter and trade and like get your play set or whatever. Because I need those specialized sound waves. Or not specialized, the specialist of sounds.
Yeah.
That alt art. Oh, it looks so good.
I need them all.
I don't need them all. I'm cool. Like reciprocal extend. I mean, it's fine, but whatever. I can do without that. I need them electric jolts though. The super busy zap, 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 zap.
Yeah.
I need that. Yeah.
Nice. But yeah, I think that's everything that we had to talk about in regards to that stuff.
Yeah.
We do have another episode we're probably gonna put out this week. Should 90.
He's committing to it now.
95% sure.
We on the record now.
We're gonna get Chris Smith and
happen.
Keenan Meadows back on and do some rating.
A little more
of
provisional talk.
No, we're gonna rate the ultra rares.
Oh, that's right, the ultra rares.
Set 2. And now that the secret rares are out, we're gonna rate the secret rares too. And then we're trying to get a time set up with Daniel Nelson, the provisional winner, but that's probably not gonna be out till next week, just with availability not lining up for us. So yeah, we got those 2 things lined up. So look out for those.
So if you aren't subscribed to our YouTube channel, make sure you subscribe to it. Or if you're not subscribed to the pod, make sure you get that however you get your podcast, right?
Yeah. Yeah, click that.
Also go and like the Facebook page, because we
like it all.
We post there too. Yeah.
Give us
also check out the website. We got lots of stuff there. Character bios, all the cards for all the characters, some deck lists. We're going to have some more deck list content coming out here as we approach set 2 as well. So yeah, man, lots of stuff on the horizon. So
do you have all the set 2 on the website as well?
Yeah, I have all the characters and all their cards. I've got most of the character bios written. There's like 5 or so I think I'm still working on.
The secret rares, you got those on there yet?
No, those just came out today. And also they're not technically part of someone's kit. Like, you can include Dropkick Slicer and Stains, and I'll do that. But so that is the one thing. Like, if it's not a card that matches a character symbols, or it's not meant for a character, like it's just one of the back page kind of cards, which are just cards with random symbols on them in a set, I don't include those cards because there's no good way to do that. Outside of just making a giant folder or file or something that's just clunky. So
miscellaneous cards,
random cards. Click here. Yeah. No, man, because I got broken up by like UA students, and then we got like the pro heroes, and then we got like the villains and stuff. Like, it's organized, man. It's looking good.
Gonna make the UA directory that just has the list of it all, including the secret rares.
This guy.
Live workshop.
All right. Yeah. All right, guys. Thanks for tuning in. It was great to catch up with you again.
Appreciate you guys stopping by.
Bye-bye.
Have a good one.